Come heavy or don't come at all. You leave your piece at home, that's your call. It never paid to be merciful. Come heavy or don't come at all. Come heavy or don't come at all. Been here before, I watched a better man.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Crown Royal presents the Jeff Kyle 400 at the Brickyard, formerly known as the Brickyard 400 from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 22nd annual Brickyard race. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway opened August 12th, 1909, 105 years ago. During World War II, from 1942 to 1945, there was no 500 races, so there's been 102 Indianapolis 500s at the Speedway. During that time in World War II, the track fell into disrepair, and we almost didn't have the icon known as Indianapolis Motor Speedway. New owners bought the track in 1945, spent $700 and some thousand renovating it to the World Center of Speed that we know it as today. NASCAR started at Indy by a fluke. In 1991, September of 91, the legendary A.J. Foyt was doing a Craftsman commercial in the garage area, Gasoline Alley at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Had his cup car there, looked at President of the Speedway, Tony George, and said, "What do you think about taking it for a spin?" So they took the, I believe it was number 14 that AJ had, took his cup car, and AJ did, around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway the first time that a stock car had ever touched that track. Tony George took some laps in it, and they set out with Goodyear to see what they could do with it. And then in '93, there was a Goodyear test there with 9 teams, and or '92 I believe it was. 9 teams came there and tested. They spent oodles of hundreds of thousands of dollars to, extend the pit road and widen the pit road, safer barriers and this, that, the fencing and everything to be able to stop a 3,500 pound stock car. And then the very first race was August 6, 1994, won by Indianapolis, Indiana's own Jeff Gordon. In NASCAR, there's always been 4 crown jewel races, and now with the Brickyard for the last 21 years, has added to the crown jewel. Those crown jewels are Daytona 500 at Daytona International Speedway, the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte, the Winston 500 at Talladega, and then the Southern 500 at Darlington. You can add the Brickyard 400 right there. Only the legendary drivers in NASCAR have ever won at Indy. The first race, like I said, was won by Jeff Gordon. He's also the defending champion. He's a 5-time Indianapolis winner. Jimmy Johnson has won 4 times. Tony Stewart and Dale Jarrett have both won twice. Chevrolet has dominated in the 21 previous races with 16 wins. Ford has 3 wins. Dodge and Pontiac each have 1. 8 times in that 21 years has the winner of the Brickyard 400 went on to win the championship in the same year. 98 with Jeff Gordon, 99 with Dale Jarrett, 2000 with Bob Labonte, 2001 with Jeff Gordon, 2005 Tony Stewart, 2006 and 2008 and 2009 with Jimmy Johnson. So obviously Hendrick Motorsports runs well at Indy. Jeff Gordon runs well at Indy. The last 2 races in Indy, Jeff Gordon has finished 4th with 1 win and 2 top 10s. Casey Kane, his average finish is 4.5 with 2 top 10s and 1 top 5. Matt Kenseth, shocking the Toyota, has run well at Indy. Average of finish 4.0. Ryan Newman, 6th place finish average. Kyle Busch, 6th. Kyle Larson, in 1 race, he's finished 7th. In career at the Speedway, Jeff Gordon has, like I said, 5 wins in 21 races. He's raced at every Indianapolis Brickyard 400. He's averaged 8.38 finish. Tony Stewart, from his RL days, he's ran the double multiple times. He knows how to get around Indy as good as anyone. In 16 races, he's averaged 8.5 with 2 wins. Jimmy Johnson in 13 races has 4 wins. Indianapolis is a 2.5 mile intermediate track. It's not a super speedway, it's not a short track, it's 2.5 miles, intermediate. It's kind of comparable to Pocono in NASCAR, 2.5 mile racetrack. Dale Jr. has 2 wins at Indy and Pocono in the last 7 races. Jeff Gordon has 11 wins in his career at Indy and Pocono. Dale Jr. has 2 wins in his career at Indy and Pocono. Hendrick Motorsports has always run well here. Chevrolet's run well. My pick would be Jeff Gordon, hometown boy. I think this is the track that Jeff can get his win for the year and get locked into the chase. If not, I can see Jimmy Johnson getting his 5th win of the year and his 5th win at Indy. I could see Casey Kane even getting the 2nd win at Indy. Dark horse pick, Tony Stewart. He needs a win. He's like 25th or 26th in points right now. He needs to turn his season around. Last year he missed some races because of the incident in the Sprint Car Series. He's really, his teammates Kevin Harvick and Kurt Busch are both already qualified for the chase. The defending champion Kevin Harvick. I think Tony needs a good run here. I think Tony could sneak up and get a victory here and lock himself into the chase and kind of turn his season around and his career around. As for the points, currently, as we know, there are 11 drivers locked in. 10 technically locked in with Kyle Busch winning at Kentucky last week. Like I said, that's 3 wins for him this year. He's 35th in points. Love it or hate it, there's no reason why he won't go ahead and get the top 30 in points and make the chase. And then we'll have a bitch fest about that at that point. New Hampshire is the 2nd race of the chase. He ran well there. I think he won there, so he's got 2 wins in a row, so there's no reason to think that he won't not only make the chase, but he'll make the first cut of the chase and make it to the, whatever they call it, the contender round or whatever. Alright, the guys who are technically in the chase, but not locked in the chase, we have Jamie McMurray. He is sitting 9th in points. His average at Pocono is a 10th place finish. Next week at Watkins Glen, he's an average of 12th place finish. And at Michigan, which is the 3rd race, he's averaged a 17th place finish. After that, they go to Bristol, Darlington, and then Richmond. McMurray, this is his best chance in the next 3 races. Pocono next week is his best chance of the 3 races, next 4 races to, get a win or at least get up there a little bit, so he get a chance to make the chase. He's got a 50-point lead over the last place in the chase right now, currently Paul Menard. So he's not locked by no means, but he just keep doing what he's doing. He might be safe enough. Jeff Gordon, he's sitting there 10th in points. Obviously, at Indy is his best shot to get a victory. Pocono next week, he's averaging 8th place finish, and then at Watkins Glen, he's after 35th place and 16th at Michigan. His best bet to make the chase is to win here at Indy or possibly win next week at Pocono to get locked in. Then we go to Casey Kane, who he's running well at Indy. This is his best shot of the next 4 races, 20th, 23rd, and 16th respectively. So he needs to be up there this week, possibly fighting for the victory. Ryan Newman, same way. He's coming up, 12th place at Pocono average, 27th at Watkins Glen, 15th at Michigan. Some tracks he kind of struggles with, so he needs a good run here. Paul Menard, 30th, 24th, and 6th. So he just needs to hang in there with top 15s at least, and then maybe have a good run at Michigan and get locked in. Next, we have Aric Almirola, which technically right now he's on the bubble spot. But once Kyle gets in the top 30, Almirola bumps back. He would be 26th, 26 points behind final spot. He's got a lot of work to do. Boyer's 28th behind. Boyer has a couple tracks he's really good at. He's averaging 13th at Pocono and 7th at Michigan, so he needs to run well. Biffle's 91 points back. He always runs good at Pocono and Indy and Watkins Glen, so he needs a good run. Austin Dillon and then Casey Mears is over 100 points out of the chase right now, so I really don't see him as a factor. Honestly, besides the 11 guys who've already qualified, the next 5 pretty much a lock unless one of these other guys, like a Tony Stewart or like a Greg Biffle or Clint Boyer, step up and get a victory. I look at the chase as pretty much locked. So that will wrap up the 2015 Crown Royal presented by Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly? No, it's not Kyle O'Reilly. I'll look to make sure I say it right. Crown Royal presents the Jeff Kyle 400 at the Brickyard. Just call it the Brickyard 400. I get the whole Crown Royal and the Jeff Kyle as a serviceman memorial for him, so that's why I wanted to make sure I said it right. The Crown Royal presents the Jeff Kyle 400 at the Brickyard. So that wraps up my preview. As always, thanks for watching Rubber Sports Show. Make sure you follow me on Twitter and on Facebook, and subscribe to all 5 Rubber Sports Show's channels. As always, thanks for watching and have a spiffy night. Rubber Sports Show, the YouTube leader in sports channels.